I think going into last season, Drake Caggiula was a little bit of an X factor. Nobody knew exactly, how good a player he may be in the National Hockey League, where he fits in at what level. I thought during the playoffs, he kind of sort of noticed that this kid looks like a player.
He's a player, and he, if you remember the start of the year, we had him all over the place. We had him in center, and then he got hurt, and he's not a natural center, but he can play center. He can make plays, and certainly we did it. We were trying out a lot of different combinations. So think about it. He's a player that just turned pro that we're throwing around in different positions. He's trying to get his feet wet in the league. He's trying to make our team. So I say all that because he had a slow start for him. He's gritty. He's very competitive. He's undersized, but he's strong, and he can make plays. He can really shoot the puck. He had a lot of chances, shooting wise, where now he's seen what he's done and why they didn't either get through to the net or why he didn't score. And he's got a really underrated shot, and I think you'll see him learn from that.
Slepyshev's got an ankle injury, but what's the timetable on him coming back?
He may miss some time at the start of camp. It's not a serious injury, so I can't tell you with certainty.
Right. So that certainly creates more competition on the right side if he's in the mix as well. In the short term, though, I think the injury would certainly, and maybe the door was already open anyways, for Jussi Puljujarvi. There's a chance that, he could end up playing on a line with Jokinen on the left side, Nugent Hopkins in the middle, and Puljujarvi on the right. Let me ask you this. Were you surprised at all that he wasn't able to secure full-time employment last year? Because during the draft, I kind of assumed that the top guys, and Puljujarvi was the third of the big three, that
would play.
Would immediately play in the National Hockey. I didn't expect him to put up numbers like Laine or Matthews, but I thought, yeah, he'll play.
I did too, Bob. And what I didn't take into account, what we didn't take into account was the newness of North America on a number of levels, to Jussi. Jussi's from a northern part of Finland, and it wasn't just so getting acclimated to North American life away from the rink. There was a lot of different things at the rink too that I think he had a learning curve that he didn't completely get to the top of. So he's the complete package, and we're going to be patient with him. And he did a little different training this year, a little more explosive training. He's a good skater, but a little more explosive training.
How did he finish up in the American League?
He had good numbers. He had very good numbers for an 18-year-old. I saw him play a few times. He could have had twice those numbers, and I think he got a little frustrated down there because I think he really thought he should have rang up a lot of numbers, and you get into a little bit of a spiral. But he stood out, and which was nice for me to see, and didn't surprise me. He went over to the Worlds, and we thought it'd be better him playing over there. He got in and out of the lineup over there. I saw a couple of his games on TV. He had some strong games. That's a big step too. So he's a real conscientious kid, and he knows the game very well. And I think he learned a lot this year.
He better equipped now, do you think, to be a full-time NHL player this year?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, that what you envision for him, that he'll be on your roster?
I would. Yes, I would.
Obviously,
I'd anticipate that he'd be on our team, and he had areas to work on, and we talked with him about that going into the summer, and both conditioning wise. It's not that he was out of condition. This guy's a machine. Training. He was just doing a little bit. His conditioning was long conditioning, running, cycling. He was in terrific shape.
Which actually slows you down.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
That's my excuse, anyways. You signed Jussi Jokinen in the off season. Why'd you sign him, and what do you think he brings to the table?
Well, he's a very versatile player. and he's terrific on faceoffs. That's the one thing, if you just look at the stats that stand out. I just, this guy just keeps playing well, and I know he had a little bit of a down year. He had an injury, and he was coming off a World Cup, and he played a ton of hockey. World Cup, I think it was World Championship, then World Cup, and then Florida, and
right.
he was injured.
Yep.
So he's, he has a connection to Jussi, but that really didn't play much into it. We liked his versatility. We liked his veteran presence. All the character stuff checked out over time with his career, and he's like a Swiss Army knife.
Absolutely. One of the things that I liked about your team, kind of struck me, is that you've got Letestu and Kassian, who potentially are fourth-line guys, but they play really significant roles in special teams. That Letestu's got that role on the power play for you, and Kassian getting more and more responsibility as a penalty killer. I would anticipate nothing changes on that front this year.
No, I wouldn't. I mean, like, if anything, I would, and Zach's in a good spot as far as his role and where he is in his game. He's got stuff that he can give you more.
He can move up and down.
He can move up and down, and I think over time he'll find himself higher, I would hope, but he's very comfortable, and we're comfortable with what he does in his role on that line, because he does kill, and Todd will move him up and down the line. As far as Tess goes, he's another one of those Swiss Army knives that he does a lot of good things, and he knows where his value lies, and we know where his value lies.
Is there a pretty good chance that Puljujarvi will be a full-time?
We gave him a one-way contract. We would hope that he is. He's got to find his way into the lineup, but he's shown us enough where we were able. We made the decision to give him the one-way contract. He's got a good package. He's got to be consistent. He's playing better without the puck. Sometimes he tries to do too much with the puck. He's a young player and big body and tough kid. So yeah, we're ready to commit to him unless he screws it up.
Take note. You have some depth guys, like you got Ty Ratty, you got Brad Malone. We've mentioned 13 forwards already before we got into Ratty and Malone. One of the guys that people want to see here at Penticton and the Youngstars, the rookie tourney, is Kailer Yamamoto, your first-round pick. And there's been a lot of talk in the media that I've seen where maybe he's got a chance to make the team. And listen, I'm not disparaging him at all, because I think he's a really exciting prospect. He's got unbelievable skill, undersized, but I think 155, but really strong. But is there really a chance that he might steal a spot, given all the names that I just mentioned?
On his face, no.
Right.
No, I wouldn't think so. But my guess is because he's such a good player, and that we have a right winger who potentially might miss some time, is that he'll get, provided he gets to that point with his play right here, which he will, is that he'll find his way into top lines, and then the speculation will run rampant. But he's an exciting player, and he's a strong player for his size. So never say never, but it's more about getting him the proper games and development and stuff. Yeah. And
don't think there's any question who was the best value on your team last year. That'd be the goaltender. I mean, it worked out perfectly. 73 games played, workhorse, true number one, Vezina caliber numbers pretty much across the board, especially on wins, which is always nice at a shade over $4 million. Are you okay? Is Todd okay if he plays 73 games again, or do you want to?
Well, we want to cut that down a bit, and Cam likes playing all those games. And I would expect that we get more development from Boussois as a backup. That's a little bit heavy, 73.
Is there a number you have in mind?
Not really, but not 73.